India has its own problems, its own achievements as well. It is a country surrounded by countries, nations which have, I wouldn't say collapsed nations, it's wrong to use that word, nations which have their own intense internal problems. A country surrounded by such neighbors has its own peculiar problems. Scholars have listed what kind of problems such a country faces. Then we must understand that between the year of our independence and now, 60 years, we have added almost 1 billion in population. We were about 330 million in 1947. We are 1.3 billion today. We have added virtually 1 billion people. We are producing 1,372 megawatts of power in 1947. We have an installed capacity of 250,000 megawatts of power. Of course, China is 4 times that. That's another matter. The life expectancy at birth of an Indian in 1910 was 20 years. On account of the enormity of the problem of infant mortalities, by 2000, the life expectancy at birth of a female, urban female in Kerala became 85 years. We are just growing 6 million tons of wheat in 1946. In 2000, it was 79 million tons of wheat. And the number of, somehow, the election commissions have done an enormous amount of work. 830 million people for the election, for providing an opportunity for casting a vote for one person in a hill. They moved an entire outfit on an elephant back, traveled 3 days to reach that for putting up a booth for just one voter. These are some of the things which give us some hope. But as far as corruption is concerned, the essential source of corruption is our electoral system and political parties. Unless the political parties are reformed, ensuring openness, internal democracy, accountability of funds, publication of accounts, audit of accounts, and elimination of dynastic ambitions of all political leaders. If this combined with electoral reforms, all money, political corruption is intended to perpetuate people in power through elections. This is some kind of a problem. And that is the source of it. We must admit that we have failed. The first sign and promise of progress is when we acknowledge and admit that we have failed. Then new ideas come up. Technology will come to our help. And we must find out how we can use technology to the best of the welfare of our people. This century is going to be a stunning century in human history. 20th century was 100 years of science and technology. 21st century will not be 100 years, it will be 20,000 years of technology. And it will be a mind-boggling thing. To manage this great change, it requires great visionaries. And perhaps we will discuss these things in the next 2 days, whenever you have the opportunity to look into it. How is technology beneficial or is it baneful? How we should harness it. And I'm afraid some of us, we have seen this suffering of people in spite of all promise of a good democracy. They say people's faith in a democratic polity has been shattered, and they have resigned themselves to a situation where they think, as I very cynically put it, that we have rule of law in this country, means those who rule are the law. So far as democracy is concerned, it's a mere statistical interpretation of democracy. It's not a true democracy. And the first sentence I wrote in my report in the Constitutional Review Commission is that in this country we have reduced democracy to a state where a voter has the liberty to sell his vote for the highest bidder once in 5 years. This is the state to which we have brought our democracy. And people who shouldn't be allowed inside a respectable household are pretending to be leaders of the society. How we address these issues, social, political, economic, and we have on the cards. In the scale of globalization, we are in the scale of 1 to 10, we haven't reached even the second stage. We have to go 8 more steps, 8 more counts. What kind of complexity it brings in, how much more opportunities for exploitation it will provide. All these matters were intense debate.